Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our daily technical analysis of gold and silver. We're going to go over the dollar, 10-year yield, and some other things along with gold and silver to give you an update on what's going on with the overall markets. I've just been taking a look on the side there. It looks like everything's kind of down today. I've been kind of going back. I've been looking at the 2000, 2001 time frame. I think that's probably where we're at. We are very early to this mix, and obviously we're seeing some large divergences in some of the metals. I see platinum's up and gold's down quite a bit. So I'm trying to gauge, because the platinum to gold ratio says something. It usually means that you're in an inflationary period. And the platinum to gold ratio has been blown out to the upside. Platinum's been outperforming all the metals in terms of a ratio perspective. And that's the one that I've been buying into. That's what we've been talking a lot about on the Finding Value website, the Platinum membership. Hence why I named it the Platinum membership. It's most undervalued, if you didn't get that. But let's dive in here. I'll give you my financial opinion, and we'll jump in and start going at it. But here's the DXY, the dollar index. The index is still going up. We have relative strength in the dollar. So that is persisting. It's right at a resistance line. This could break and move higher. I don't know how much of an impact that necessarily has on a commodity bull market that's coming up in the future. Last bull market, we had the dollar gain strength in the beginning. Then it turned midway cycle. And that's, let me go back and zoom out a little bit and show you what I'm talking about. The last expansionary phase in 98, that we had strength all the way up to the basically hitting this line again in the 2002 timeframe. Then it broke down towards the back half of that bull market. And it seems like we're repeating the same type of movements. This movement here, and I'm just going to kind of show you, and I'm seeing this across all sorts of things I look at. So if I were to put this movement in a box, this movement in a circle, and then the last movement that comes is it breaks out of this high here, runs all the way up, peters out, and then we get, what I'll do is I'll make this a triangle. Now, if you were to zoom out and look at the same type of patterns here, we are getting, and I'm just going to try my best to show you what I think we've got. This here is the box. This here is the circle where it came back down, and then the triangle is coming next. And there's the triangle configuration there. And it's almost moving in the same exact pattern and everything to the T. And then I think we're probably going to head up in this triangle area if it's similar to this pattern here, and then roll back over. I can leave that up there. And I think we're just really early to this mix. We are very early, so much early that we're going to have to ride through some volatility. The 10-year yield, we're right at that resistance line. This is the resistance line we hit here, hit through here. We hit a couple times through here, and we're hitting it again. And we've bounced back down off that resistance line a little bit today, down 2.79%. So bonds getting a little bit more of a bid today. Looking at the CRB index, I'll just kind of go over that. We have fallen out of this rising wedge. If this is a rising wedge, I'm contacting a couple different points. We could have a pullback, a larger pullback in commodities, much like this pullback here. And what's weird here is we get this nice break, and then it's like flood of sellers just came in. It's like we were going to try to break to the upside, and then a flood of sellers came in, very similar to this last pullback. But yeah, we could pull back for a little bit and then resume later on. Gold, pulling on back. Again, it's still above its pattern, and we're pulling back to that breakout of that support zone, which is down at the $1,800 level. Silver pulling on back a little bit today, a little more so than the rest. We are breaking through this support level, and we could be coming back for lower levels. So if you kind of look at this level here, going across, contacting, I mean, we could come back to lower levels down here. And I don't know if we're going to get down there, guys, but we've broken out of this support zone, and we could head a little bit lower. A lot of fear in the market. Silver doesn't do well with fear when they think of disinflation or deflation. And I don't know if that's what the fear is out there. I think that we're still in an inflationary period, and that inflation will run out because of the demographic. It will, I should say, not run out, but rule out. It will rule everything. And in inflationary periods, platinum usually does very well, and we're seeing platinum hold up quite well here. And maybe it'll get dragged down platinum will get dragged back down, but it's remaining very resilient here. It's vastly outperforming silver and gold in terms of a ratio perspective. But we've broken out, we've come on back, we've done our retest move, we've broken out again, we've got a smaller pullback. We're put in kind of a bullish engulfing. I don't really necessarily like the wick at the top, but it seems like it wants to run up, and we'll see what happens. Now, the gold mining companies, they've gotten a little bit of sell-off. Looks like we got a little wick at the bottom here on the ratio, which means that this could eventually work its way around and turn its way around for the gold and silver mining companies. But I think patience is needed here. There's going to be a lot of patience that is going to be needed. And, sometimes they get these pullbacks like this to scare everyone out, and that's the slingshot. It slingshots back up higher. Maybe not. I still think we're really early to this mix. So looking at the companies themselves, Karora Resources, you can see this pattern almost like it wants to pull on back. The pattern that I'm referring to is this pattern here, and I see it all the time. And then you might get something like that along the lines of that. EXK, it's pulling on back quite dramatically. And you kind of zoom out and you're trying to see, you've got that same type of pattern here. And sometimes they look different. And then maybe it comes back somewhere like in this general tail, like it gives a little C tail. So again, I'm not the professional on Elliott Wave, but it could be something on the lines of that, especially if there's a lot of fear in the market. We've got Fortuna Silver Mines. It's pulling on back. We've got support underneath it at about basically $2 in this very large pattern. And we could even grab this guy and make it almost down here coming across. So SilJ, another one that's selling off a little bit. Teeny wick at the bottom, not a huge one. But again, I think we're going to need some patience here. And, we might start looking at support levels, down here. Man, it's getting down there, guys. We could break lower depending on what silver and gold do. It's at support roughly right where it's at. So we'll see if the support holds. GDX, another one that's been selling off. We've got support underneath it down here. We'll see where that heads. Now, when things are selling off, just watch out for these little guys because they can sell off quite a bit. They can shed a lot of value very quickly. Exploration companies are not the spot to be in a downward move. But if you want to get risky with it, you have to wait for these to kind of bottom out. You don't want to jump in front of these trains. So this is selling off. It could have, obviously it's going to have further downside, it looks like, for Koya Silver. Discovery Silver, it's coming up on support. We'll see if that support holds. Hopefully I've got that in there. It's about in the right location, somewhere in that range right in there. First Majestic Silver, this guy is selling off. The sell-off here has been so dramatic. Look at this. This is the bearish engulfing, and then it just flooded lower. This was the release of that information that the Fed had that one day, and then all of a sudden, after that day, it was just been a flood of red. And I'll be honest, I didn't see this coming. I did not see this coming from a pattern. You could see this on a short term, but I wouldn't have guessed this to just drop out like this. I thought we were going to come somewhere in this general vicinity, probably head higher, but we're continuing to sell off, and I want to see if the buyers step in here. You've got a couple of options here. Your option is, do we continue to sell off? And if we do, what you want to do is you would like to, hold your money, and you don't want to be putting in new money yet, but you're looking at this and you're going, well, it's cheap. It is cheap. And I still think we're at the beginning of a bull market. So the timing of this on the short term, and the volatility has been quite dramatic. And there's your resistance line below you. So, I mean, if you're going to try to do something, what I would do, and keep looking left for support levels. And this support level's right there, and it's dipping below it. Now, someone will say that's a breakout, but what I will say is, be careful, because sometimes they do this on purpose. What they do is they drive this to this support line. They'll drive it down and hit a bunch of stop losses down here, and then drive it back up. So, it's hard to get a perfect catch the bottom of all bottoms. But if you're a super conservative person, buy into strength, never buy into weakness. Do not buy into weakness that's coming down with the momentum of this here. You want to hold on if you're conservative. If you're aggressive, what I would do is cost average in and pepper in. You pepper in based off of basically the support levels. And then if you break below it and you're brave, you pepper in a little bit and then see what happens, and then add the rest into strength. But that's kind of what I've always done myself. And would I be adding at these positions? Probably not yet. A lot of the times they need to work this momentum off. There's lots of momentum coming down. We're at support for Newmont. I just like to see the buyers at least come in here and float the stock sideways some. Another thing that I usually see is you might see a pull up like this, and then another pullback that does something like that, which basically is about to go higher. Looking at Mag Silver, yeah, it's pulling back. We're coming back. Remember about the support lines and then how they dip below it sometimes and then slingshot higher. I'm not saying that you got to chase that. The least risk way to play this is to wait for the momentum to dissipate completely, and then wait for buyers to step in and then buy into strength. That's the most conservative approach with the highest probability bet if you are trading something. Investing, you can kind of sprinkle in and just pepper. And I know the moves have scared people, and they're less likely to do that. But I mean, that's how you make lots of money, is you got to kind of pepper in. Now, notice that this thing's kind of got that shape I've been talking about. We might get somewhere back down there. Maybe we do a retest. Again, I don't know the future. It does have a little bit of a wick at the bottom, a little bit of a hammer pattern. The smaller guys, they like to sell off. So this is going back to potentially this support line that I've drawn at 20 cents. And if you get down there and then you find support, wait for the buyers to step back in perhaps. AAGFF, Aftermath Silver. So here we go. It's loading. Now this is that booty bottom. So you come in, you get this like little cleft there, then you come up and you do a booty bottom. But are we at the bottom yet? And if we're really early in the bull market, it's really, really hard to time these bottoms, guys. Like it's almost, I'm just going to say it's difficult. But what I have seen is these patterns come up. They go sideways for a while, they dip down, they create almost like a V-shaped pattern sometimes, and then they come all the way back up. I'm not saying that is necessarily the case, but I mean, if you are ultra aggressive, you could sprinkle, but just know that it still has some momentum behind it to the downside. This may or may not be done yet. Arcana Silver's resting on that support line of the previous sell-off bottom. Is this a double bottom? Now, what do a lot of these, here's the bottom there, and we've had a couple dips below it. If you like Arcana Silver, I don't own anything in Arcana Silver, but what I would look for is a dip, and then look for like a hammer pattern to come back up, and then it'll go up. They'll try to shake everyone out here. But again, I have no money in this game for Arcana Silver. Platinum Group Metals, it's contracting a little bit. Momentum is still to the downside. Again, this is that booty bottom. You've got that little cleft. You've got another booty bottom developing. And what you're basically looking for is trying to pick off this bottom somewhere. The bottom last time, it got all the way down to 89 cents. If you can pick this off for 89 cents or somewhere about that, if it gets down that low, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, sometimes they dip right below it. That's up to you if you want to try picking the bottom. It's really hard to do that, but the simplest way is to buy on a breakout, which we did break out. and it's just coming back with the overall market. SBSW, another one that's right on support. It's playing with it, getting a little bit of a line. Depends on what you want to do here, but it's at support. We either break it and go down, or we get a bounce. If you're going to be brave, I mean, now's the time to buy it off the support. If you don't want to be brave and you want to be conservative, wait for the buyers to step in and buy into the strength of the buyers. That's how I would play it. Sandstorm Gold, another one that is... Oh man, I've got that line in the wrong location. Let me, I was probably on logarithmic when I did this. This line should be more like down there. But we're back within the pattern. We're getting these wicks on the bottom. These wicks on the bottom are usually reversal candlesticks, but there's nothing saying that it's going to be lasting. So we reversed higher here. More selling pressure came into the market and sold it back off. Now, looking at this chart here for Sandstorm Gold, they've got a good promising future. It's a royalty company. You know, if you like the company, that's up to you on what you want to do. But it's looking a lot better down in this vicinity. So yeah, I don't mind it down there. We've got Franco-Nevada. Franco-Nevada's got that type of pattern here. And if we fall back here, guys, I mean, Franco-Nevada's a big boy. That it's a royalty company. They got royalties in all sorts of different things. You know, I think it's worth giving a look. And if you look from a big picture view, we are consolidating in this gigantic pattern here. And I think, I mean, even if it dips down a little bit below it, like we did here, the pattern is not necessarily broken. And I could even move this pattern a little bit lower, so it's more, down here, something on the lines of that. But, it's worth looking at if you guys like a larger royalty company with a little bit more safety than some of these really volatile ones. Franco-Nevada. EMX, yep, it's breaking out. It looks like it wants to do a retest move. Now, I know a lot of people are scared. Oh my goodness, it's breaking, the bottom. Look for this support line. What is the strategy that you have in place? If you like gold and silver, what I would be doing, and again, guys, if you want to sign up for the Platinum membership on the website, if you like this type of I don't know what you want to call it, opinions or whatever, I would wait for this momentum to dissipate lower, wait for the buyers to step in, and then buy into the strength. If you're waiting, don't try catching the falling knife. I've said that many times before, and I know some people are trying to catch falling knives. And it's fun. It's fun if you catch it, but it's really hard. Wait for this momentum to dissipate. Wait for the trend to turn around, and then buy into strength. That's the typical approach that most people take. Teuton Resources, it's had this long thing, and then a lot of the times, if it's an ABC correction in Elliott wave, and again, I'm not an expert in it, you kind of get these moves like this, and then it leaves a little tail on it. So I do think that this tail could be the end of the move. Are we at the end of the move? That is difficult to say. We have a little hammer pattern here. But the brave will catch the bottom. It's just sometimes you get slaughtered trying to catch the bottom as well. The more conservative approach is to wait for the buyers to step in, drive this back up, break the downtrend, and then buy into strength. Again, I've said that multiple times here. Wheat and precious metals, it's sitting on top of patterns. That's that one's sitting on top of the pattern here. It's looking quite well. Gold royalties, that thing's selling off. Getting a little bit more selling pressure there. Metallo minerals selling off. And again, that could be this kind of corrective phase where we kind of flush everyone out before a move higher. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we continue to move lower, but usually you get these little tails on the end. This guy's back within the pattern for Mavericks Metals. Royal Gold down a little bit. A Cisco Gold royalty. Again, we've got support underneath here. It's putting in a little bit of a hammer pattern. We'll see if the buyers step in. And then Altius Minerals is coming and touching back almost on its support area. And remember, this is a whole support zone down here. So that's what I've got for today, guys. That's the gold and silver. If you guys want to sign up to the Finding Value Platinum membership, go below. We have a question and answer session coming up Saturday. You guys can ask questions. I talk a lot about all of this stuff that I did today, and it's very similar to it. But we do all the different sectors. I give you basically my opinions on absolutely everything on all different sectors and what I would be buying personally. I do have my favorite sectors. I do have my favorite companies in those favorite sectors, and I do think that they'll outperform everything else. And I definitely favor certain sectors because the sectors are generating good cash flow. Just put it that way. But yeah, if you guys like the content, so subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and sign up to the website if you haven't. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.